Bill Eigel, Jay Ashcroft, or Mike Kehoe? Who's going to fight for gun owners as the next Missouri governor? Stay tuned, guys. We're breaking this race down for you right now. Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here at the Missouri Firearms Coalition. The August primary is in sight, and everybody has been asking us our opinion on the gubernatorial primary between Bill Eigel, Jay Ashcroft, and Mike Kehoe. The question is frankly for all the marbles. If somehow Joe Biden wins re-election, the next governor here in Missouri will not only lead the fight for gun rights or not, they will decide whether or not Missouri remains a free and independent state or becomes more and more of a puppet for an all-powerful, ever-increasing in power anyway, federal government. For the last couple of years, we have had nonstop drag-out battles between Missouri and the Department of Justice, Missouri and the White House over things like the Second Amendment Preservation Act. We've had lawsuits filed by our Attorney General trying to put the ATF and the DOJ in line. If we have a governor who does not want to fight back, if we have a governor who does not have the stomach to fight back, those things will stop. So guys, it is critical as gun owners that we approach this primary with suspicion. That's my overall urge to you, is to approach this entire process and be suspicious. Because in a primary in Missouri, everyone's pro-gun. Everyone's a champion, everyone's a hero, everyone's a fighter, and it's completely crap. And so as you watch this video, don't even believe me. Take a moment to watch this video and then do your own research, and you find out who you think will actually fight for your gun rights. Again, the question is not who is pro-gun. The good news here in Missouri, when it comes to these three candidates, I'll get the hard part out of the way quick. None of these guys are anti-Second Amendment. None of these guys will vote for gun control or sign gun control into law as governor. That's not the issue. The issue we're facing here right now in Missouri is who will fight the hardest to defend our freedoms. That's the question we're going to try to give you some context on in this video. And we're going to begin with Bill Eigel. Bill Eigel has been a state senator from St. Charles for the last 8 years. If you know anything about Bill Eigel, you know that the guy is an absolute champion when it comes to the Second Amendment. Anybody can say they're pro-gun. The question is, what has a person done with the power they have had when it comes to fighting for our gun rights? In the case of Bill Eigel, you can measure that for yourself. In 2021, when Joe Biden was fresh in the White House, coming after gun owners as hard as he could here in Missouri, we passed the nation's first ever Second Amendment Preservation Act with teeth. Here in Missouri, we told Joe Biden, if you want to use federal authorities to enforce your federal gun control tyranny, that's one thing. But you will not be allowed to use Missouri troopers, Missouri deputies, Missouri city cops to get it done. We're a sovereign state. We're not going to help you. We're not going to lift a finger to help you enforce federal gun control. The rhinos in Jeff City did not want to pass SEPA. They fought us tooth and nail trying to find ways to sandbag it all session long. And Bill Eigel was there for the entire process, fighting to help us pass SEPA. When it finally got to the 5-yard line, the last day or two of session, May 2021, the Democrats threw a Hail Mary. They launched a 7-hour-long filibuster on the floor trying to tank the energy, the oxygen behind SEPA law. And it was Bill Eigel and a handful of other senators who stood up on the floor and fought like a dog to make sure they shouted down that Democrat filibuster and got it done. SEPA is the most consequential gun bill that Missouri has ever enacted. Bill Eigel was a part of that fight. He fought to pass SEPA. For the last 2 years, Bill Eigel has been the lead sponsor on our bill to ban red flag gun seizures here in Missouri. You've all heard of a red flag law by now. It could be an angry ex-spouse, it could be an angry coworker, it could be a crazy liberal college professor neighbor, someone who doesn't like you, doesn't like your politics. They call you in, you might be dangerous, they say, and the cops then ask the courts to issue a seizure order. They always do it in the states that have these. They never consider it. It's always a rubber stamp, it's done, and your guns are confiscated before you've been indicted, arrested, or convicted of anything. It's the end of due process. It shreds our right to be innocent until proven guilty. They're horrible. Here in Missouri, we've batted these back a lot in Jeff City. And our goal now is to ban red flags by requiring a felony conviction to have your guns taken away. That's what other red states have done. Bill Eigel agrees, and he has been sponsoring that bill for the last couple of years in Jeff City. That's a major testimony to his support for your gun rights. Of course, everyone knows last session, frankly the last 2 years in a row, but especially the 2024 session, the dominant issue here in Missouri was IP reform. For those who don't know, Missouri has a very easy initiative petition, IP, process that allows Bloomberg-style activists to put an issue on the ballot for a direct vote of the people. They bypass the General Assembly, and in doing so, they could repeal Missouri's SAPO law. They could repeal constitutional carry. They could insert statewide gun registries, or they could insert an AR-15 ban. That is Bloomberg's goal. Everybody knows it. Missouri has a very low threshold to amend the Constitution. We have to amend that or reform that process, thus IP reform. But all last session, the rhinos in Jeff City sat back, they ran out the clock, and they attacked the senators like Bill Eigel who were pushing every single day trying to get IP reform done. You see, I want to be clear on this. These days, it is not enough to simply be pro-gun. If you're pro-gun and you won't fight for it, we as gun voters, that doesn't pass the smell test. You have to fight for our gun rights. In a lot of areas, Bill Eigel has done that. Fought for SAPA, fought to ban red flags, fought to pass IP reform. And the key thing that separates Bill Eigel from everybody else is Bill Eigel is hated. Now, some people might say, oh my gosh, why are you advertising this, right? I'm going to be straight up with you guys. Again, if a legislator these days is not being attacked by the rhinos in his own party in Jefferson City, he's not doing his job. She's not doing her job. The problem we have in Missouri right now is not the Democrats. It's not even St. Louis. It's not Kansas City. It's the rhinos in Jeff City who campaign on our gun rights and the rest of our conservative issues and then work to sabotage them in Jeff City. And so when we see a lawmaker, in this case Bill Eigel, who was hated by the lobbyists, many of them anyway, hated by the rhinos, all of them, just to be clear, and hated by the media, that's a sign that that guy, in this case Bill, has been fighting for the Second Amendment for a long time here in Missouri. That's the recap on Bill Eigel. 100% pro-gun candidate survey, but far more importantly, 8 years of documented history fighting to defend the Second Amendment here in Missouri. Now that brings up Jay Ashcroft. Like Bill Eigel, Jay has surveyed 100% pro-gun, and like all the candidates here, as I said, Jay is definitely pro-gun and would never support a gun control measure as governor. As Secretary of State, Jay has used the power of his office to rewrite the gun control amendments the left was trying to get on the ballot this year to make sure they didn't trick anybody. And that's a good way to use his office to help advance the fight for gun rights. The problem is, absent that action, there's just nothing else for us to point to show how Jay Ashcroft would operate or act under the pressure of the rhinos when it comes to the Second Amendment. Again, not saying Jay Ashcroft is bad on guns, not saying Jay Ashcroft is weak on guns. What we're saying is that there's no way for us to tell. There hasn't been the occasion for him to get down in the trenches and fight for the Second Amendment like State Senator Igel has or former Senator Kehoe has had the option to. We'll get to that in a minute, just because he has not been in that position. And so we have limited data, both as the Missouri Firearms Coalition and as gun voters, to try to figure out how he would act under the pressure from the left, from the media, and from the rhinos on the so-called right. That's the recap on Jay Ashcroft. And that brings up Mike Kehoe. Mike's been around for a very long time, 8 years in the Senate. He was just a couple months away from the end of his 8-year ride. He got named lieutenant governor by Mike Parson, who of course replaced our outgoing disgraced governor. He's been around now for a very long time as lieutenant governor. So combined, he's been in Jeff City for a very long time. We know a lot about what Mike Kehoe has done or has not done when it comes to the Second Amendment. Like all the rest of the candidates, Mike Kehoe surveyed 100% pro-gun with the Missouri Firearms Coalition, and we're always happy to acknowledge anybody who completes our survey 100% pro-gun. But that's about where the good news stops when it comes to Mike Kehoe. Being around for a long time, as our organization has, means we have some stories. I'm going to give you guys one here today. You're going to have to rewind the clock a little bit. 2016, we have Jay Nixon as governor here in Missouri, and we are this close to passing constitutional carry here in Missouri. The bill became a much bigger deal as the session wore on. We passed it out of the House, and it was back now in the Senate, where at that time, Kehoe was the Senate Majority Leader. This is now constitutional carry, stand your ground law, enhanced castle doctrine, lifetime carry permits. It was, at that time, the biggest gun bill to ever pass or become close to passing at that time here in Missouri. The hang-up was back in the Senate, where at that time, Mike Kehoe was Senate Majority Leader. It's 2016. We're about 2 days away from the end of the session, and Mike Kehoe is telling us directly in the Capitol that he's not sure what he's going to do when it comes to constitutional carry. It's an election year. Don't forget, this is 2016. We have a Democrat governor. This was their last chance to give him a parting shot out the door, and Mike Kehoe was not sure what he would do. And so we put a lot of pressure on Mike, social media, text messages, emails, everything, and he was not very happy with our organization, and that's fine. We don't care about that. Eventually, because of the work of other senators, Kehoe got on board, released the bill as Majority Leader, and the bill passed the General Assembly. A couple days later, maybe it was a week later, Jay Nixon vetoes constitutional carry. And as you all know, here in Missouri, we have a one-day veto override process in September every year where the General Assembly has the option to override the governor's veto if they have the votes to get it done. So fast forward to September. We've spent all summer 2016 compiling emails and petitions and all kinds of grassroots activism urging the leadership teams in the House and Senate to get this done. The House made it very clear they're going to override that veto as fast as they possibly could. The House, frankly, was never in doubt. The problem was Mike Kehoe. And so the day of the override session, we're there in Jeff City. Our whole team is there, and we had 20,000 signed petitions from gun owners all across the state, and especially from Kehoe's district, urging him to do the right thing and override that stinking veto. We're standing there in his office, in the Senate, asking his staff, where's the senator? Want to talk to him. We need 2 minutes. We have these boxes and boxes and boxes of petitions. Kehoe comes breezing in the office, looks at us, scowls, slams the door, and we can hear him just like shouting through the door, yelling at his staff, why'd you let those guys come in the office in the first place? And so we dropped off 20,000 petitions right there on the floor, and we told Senator Kehoe's office that if he killed constitutional carry by not overriding the governor's veto, that blame would be fully and solely upon him. And eventually, thankfully, to all the pressure from our members, Kehoe did the right thing and did help override Jay Nixon's veto. But it shouldn't have been so damn hard. It shouldn't have been a fight. It shouldn't have been a fight back in May when he wouldn't pass the bill in the first place. It shouldn't have been a fight in September when he wanted to slow roll the whole process on the override. Every part of that process, it was a struggle with Mike Kehoe to get him to do the right thing. That made a real impression on us. That's not a good thing. Fast forward a couple of years, he's now Lieutenant Governor, Mike Kehoe. We're working on SEPA in Jeff City, 2021, the bill that Bill Eigel helped us pass. It's kind of the same thing, kind of the same deal. A lot of times in Jeff City when bills die, they don't die on the floor, they die behind closed doors. They die in a committee room. They die because some leadership team member calls around and says, we don't want this bill. We don't need this bill. And we had a lot of that here in Missouri in 2021 from Mike Kehoe when it came to the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Eventually we got it done. We're very thankful for that. But the same thing, Mike Kehoe, as he tried to slow roll constitutional carry, tried to slow roll the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Now, of course, he was there with all of us in Lee's Summit at Frontier Justice when the governor signed SEPA into law. He has a great picture right behind the governor, right? Getting that photo op when the governor signs it into law. But all session long, he was a no-show on this issue at best, and at worst, he was working behind closed doors to slow roll the advancement of SEPA legislation here in Missouri. And so this is what I mean. None of these three are anti-gun. None of these three have refused to sign a candidate survey. We're thankful for those facts. But the question is not who says they're pro-gun. The question is who will fight for your gun rights. And when it comes to that context, Mike Kehoe has not been willing to fight for gun owners. He simply hasn't. He just hasn't done it. He's had a long time, a lot of chances, and he hasn't got it done. We noticed, and we couldn't help but notice his endorsements. He's backed by the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP. Look, there was a day when having the FOP endorsement was a good thing. Gun owners are very much in favor of law and order. We want the chaos in our blue cities to be restrained. We respect law enforcement who fights to maintain law and order and who respects our right to keep and bear arms. But here in Missouri, as a lobby organization, the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP, have been nothing but an enemy to gun owners for at least the last decade in Jefferson City. Every single expansion of gun rights that we've achieved here in Missouri, to our knowledge, and if we're wrong, we'll correct it, every single time we expanded gun rights, constitutional carry, stand your ground law, enhanced castle doctrine law, lifetime carry permits, SEPA, every single time, FOP opposed it in committee. Every single time they worked around the building, they lobbied to try to kill the bill before it came to the floor for a vote. Every time we've tried to move additional gun bills over the last couple of years, like Bill Eigel's bill to ban red flags, it's FOP who's there in committee trying to kill gun bills. And so these days in Missouri, while frontline cops remain very much pro-gun, as a lobby presence, their operation is very much opposed to your gun rights. So when we see groups like FOP backing Mike Kehoe, that is not a compliment to him from our perspective as the Missouri Firearms Coalition. So guys, the recap here is pretty simple. Mike Kehoe did all he could to slow roll constitutional carry, to slow roll SEPA. He has a bunch of rhino friends in Jeff City. He did nothing, for example, this session when the conservatives being attacked by the rhinos for pushing for IP reform, did nothing to come to their aid, did nothing to stand up there and say, we have to get this done to defend our gun rights. And so every chance he's had to stand up and fight for gun owners, he's done the exact opposite. That's a real problem when it comes to Mike Kehoe. When it comes to Jay Ashcroft, again, 100% survey. He's done some good things as Secretary of State when it comes to our gun rights. There's not much more to tell you because of the limitations of the nature of his job description as the Secretary of State. And again, the recap on Bill Eigel is pretty simple. It's pretty simple. 8 years fighting for gun owners in Jeff City, accomplishing a lot, getting a lot of things done for us with SEPA, working to help ban red flag gun seizures, fighting for IP reform, and again, he's hated by the rhinos in Jefferson City. Guys, that's our recap in this race. Do me a favor, make sure and share it online. You can find it on Twitter, you can find it on YouTube, you can find it on Facebook, you can find it on our website. Wherever you're watching this, share it online. Make sure everyone has the facts. To see more race breakdowns, hit all of our platforms, and guys, get involved in the fight today at joinmofc.com.